Hello, my lovely dreamers and friends. Welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Christina. Thank you for clicking my video and giving it a chance. I have to tell you from the start that I am an ASMR creator, and that video is something that I do not usually do. This is a video in a normal voice and pace. I have already made a video on this topic. It is an ASMR video, and it became quite, I wouldn't say popular, but people seem to be interested in this case, and as a result, I got a lot of mixed reactions and comments. Most of them are kind words, appreciative because it is the only English video on this case. But I also received a lot of rude, extremely rude comments, and a lot of people that do not like ASMR disliked that video without giving it the slightest chance right from the start, because they hated ASMR so much. So I decided to create a normal version, it's a way of saying, of this video. I just need to let you know that I am an ASMR lover. ASMR has helped a lot of people along the years, including myself, fight insomnia, anxiety, and there are people who cannot listen to these cases in a normal voice. They look for these whispered or soft-spoken true crime videos because it is easier for them to listen to them. This is my normal voice. I cannot change anything about it. This is all I can do. If you are an ASMR lover and you do not like this video, there I will link in the description box the first video that I have made on this case. It is quite a very popular case here in Italy. And I also want to be adding ASMR in the title of this one that I'm currently filming right now. From my point of view, doing a video in ASMR is not disrespectful, it's just the same way. It is just that we present that case in a whispered voice or in a soft-spoken voice. I find disrespectful a lot of other things, as focusing on the graphic details, using the victim's picture as clickbait, looking for the sensational part of that crime and ignoring the rest. And believe me that ASMR is far from being disrespectful. It is a community full of kindness, compassion, empathy, and love. Okay, so let's get into the video. This case is a very difficult one to do. I don't like to talk about cases that I like to talk about children cases. They are really heartbreaking, and emotionally they empty you, they destroy you, they make you suffer if you are empathic enough to feel certain things. This case is called in Italian Il delitto di Konya, and it was the very, very first case hugely covered by media. The media suddenly realized that this kind of things sell their stuff very well, and it was everywhere, in the newspaper, on the TV, a lot of TV shows, whatever newspaper you bought those days, that case was on the front page. So a little boy, a little angel, and the crime was committed on the 30th of January 2002 in a chalet villa in Montreux, which is a hamlet, part of a bigger village called Konya in Valle d'Aosta. The little angel name was Samuele Lorenzi, and he was only 3 years old. This place is a mountainous area, extremely beautiful. There are a lot of chalets and villas, and being a small village, everyone knows everyone, and it is really difficult to be a stranger or a visitor there and not being noticed by the locals. It is an extremely quiet place, far away from the medic crowd, to say so. So I was telling you that it was the 30th of January 2002, and it was 8:28 in the morning when a emergency call was placed at 118. The phone call came from Montreux, Konya, and the dispatcher could hear a woman's voice, a desperate woman's voice, asking for help, telling them that she had found her son Samuele, 3 years old, full of blood in his bed, vomiting, in fact, blood. The name of that woman was AnnaMaria Franzoni. Meanwhile, before placing that emergency phone call, AnnaMaria Franzoni had already contacted her family physician, doctor, and that doctor came first, and she assumed that it was a natural cause, some sort of aneurysm, and she tried to do her best. She took the baby and took him outside of the house, and it was extremely cold outside. And when the helicopter arrived, the paramedics found the little boy outside with the family doctor. But the paramedics could see that the wounds of the little boy were far from being a result of a natural cause, so they called the police. Unfortunately, the little boy had been declared deceased, at the hospital at 9:55 that morning. An autopsy had been performed, of course, and the cause of that was different blows to the head with some sort of weapon. On the forehead of the little boy, they could find some traces of copper, and they assumed that the murder weapon could have been some sort of decor object or a pot made of that metal. 4 days after this tragedy, the mother of the little boy, AnnaMaria, had been arrested and accused of murder. The case shocked the whole Italy and split it in two somehow, because there were people who strongly believed that the mother was guilty, and there were other people who couldn't believe that the mother was able to do something like this to her own child, to her own baby. The image of the mother here in Italy is very strong, and her role is like anywhere else in this world, is to be caring and protective. It's some sort of icon, and as I have told you, it was extremely shocking to believe that a mother could have done something like this. The mother, this AnnaMaria Franzoni. She was born on the 23rd of August 1971, and she was an accountant working for a hotel when she met Stefano Lorenzi, and they fell in love and got married. They fell in love also with Konya, that magnificent region, and they decided to build a house there. So they got married. They had their first child. Their first child was Davide, who was born in 1995, and they built the house of their dreams. Imagine a chalet built in the middle of a breathtaking landscape, mountainous area. The house was indeed magnificent, and they had a wonderful life. This was also shocking for the Italians, because this wasn't a family with problems. This was a loving family. They had everything they needed and more. So there was no reason to act like so. So they, as I was telling you, they got married, had their first son, built the house of their dreams, the way they wanted it to be. And from what I've understood, Stefano had a little business who did really well, so they didn't have financial problems. Everything was super fine. In 1998 they had a second child, and a little angel called Samuele. From the outside world they were perfect, so they were called like this by the media. They were the perfect family. Both really beautiful, they really loved each other. and they had two perfect boys, two angels. They had a beautiful house. They earned a decent amount of money, so they didn't seem to have any kind of trouble, any kind of problems in their lives. But it is also said that after the birth of her second son, AnnaMaria started to have some sort of little problems. People were talking about some sort of depression. She started to have really strange concerns about her little son Samuel. She was obsessed with his head. She considered that the little boy had a head that was too big for his little body, and she kept on asking everyone, even the teachers at school, her doctor, what was wrong with the child and if the boy's head was normal. And everyone reassured her that the little boy was perfectly normal and that was nothing wrong with his head. Samuel was a cute little boy. The teachers at school, kindergarten, talk about him as being a wonderful little boy, always smiling and sweet, as all the children on this planet are. And he was always smiling, and he loved drawing. He loved drawing his family. I told you that it's really difficult to talk about children and cases like this. Okay, so that was their life, perfect from the outside, and AnnaMaria had her little battles to fight. Some people say that she seemed to be overwhelmed by the responsibility of raising two children and having to deal with a very big house. And she had also some sort of health problems, that including fainting, shivering, nausea, and every time they called paramedics to help her, they told her that it was some sort of panic attack. An evening before the tragedy, they had guests for dinner. They had a couple for dinner. They were their friends, and AnnaMaria was feeling not very well that evening, and she remembered that her friend, the lady, told her something like that lady unfortunately had a miscarriage, and I don't know in what was the context, but she said that someone should have experienced that kind of pain probably in order to understand. So when you took words out of the context, it's difficult to see what that person really meant. But AnnaMaria remembered those words and used them against her friend Yossi later. Okay, so they had a guest for dinner. She was already accusing some sort of had already started feeling not very well. She wasn't feeling very well. So they went to bed, and at about 5 that morning, she woke up to go to the bathroom and she fainted. She accused the same symptoms. She was shivering, nausea. She wasn't feeling well at all. And she returned to the bed and asked her husband to call, to place an emergency call and ask for help. The paramedics arrived that morning, and they told them that it was nothing serious, just a panic attack. After the paramedics had left, AnnaMaria begged her husband to stay with her because she wasn't feeling well. She couldn't stand the idea of staying at home alone that day. But Stefano couldn't. He really needed to go to work, so he left for work. I think at about 7, about 7 he left for work. And at that hour, from 7 to 8, and that hour, an hour or a half, everything happened in that period of time. Otherwise, it was a normal morning, if we accept the fact that she had to be helped with her health problem. It was a normal morning. She wanted to return after her husband left for work. She wanted to return to her bed and sleep some more minutes, but she could hear her elder son moving in his bed, so she went to tell him good morning and ask him if he wanted some breakfast. They had breakfast together, some milk and cereals, and meanwhile, I don't know what happened, but they realized that it was pretty late, and the boy needed to catch the school bus. The school bus was at 8 and a quarter past 8, and they were late, so the mother was hurrying the elder son and helping him get dressed, while she heard the little boy, the other son, somewhere like crying. So she told the elder son to take the bike and go and ride his bike to the bus station. The bus station was about 3 minutes from the house, and that she will come as soon as she could. So the elder son left, and the mother took the little boy in her arms and took him in the main bedroom, put him in the main bed. He loved that bed. He felt safe and comfortable there. Covered him with the duvet and gave him his favorite handkerchief to sniff if there were fireworks outside. I had to pause. So what I was telling you about, the moment when the mother left the little boy in the main bedroom, in the main bed. She turned on the TV to give him the idea that she was still in the house. She put on her coat and went to accompany her elder son to the bus station. The bus driver said that they seemed to be perfectly fine. Okay, they were not, they didn't seem to be distressed or were sad or crying, nothing like that. When she returned, she found the little boy. So the thing that she left at about, let's say, 8:10, and she returned. The emergency call was placed at 8:28. So she returned after 10 minutes. And when she entered the house, she realized that Samuele was not crying. It was quiet. So she went upstairs to check on him, and she found him in the bed, covered in blood. Shocked and shivering, she began crying. She cried for help to the neighbor next door. There was a lady next door who came, and she was the first one who entered the house. She was totally shocked. You know that I don't like to give graphic details. They're not relevant all the time, but it is enough to tell you that the woman was shocked. There was blood everywhere, of course, and after that the mother called the family doctor, and after that she placed that emergency call. She also called her husband, and she talked to the secretary, telling her that their little son had died, which was not true, and asking the secretary to tell her husband to come home immediately. But somehow it's understandable how she was in shock. When the police arrived, they used luminol, and they found on the bed, they found AnnaMaria's pajamas, and next to the bed her house slippers, the shoes that she used to wear in the house. And there was blood on the pyjama, and there was also blood on the slippers and on the soles of the slippers. And analyzing the blood splatters, the experts could establish how everything had happened, and they could determine that the attacker jumped on the bed on her knees and hit multiple times the little boy with something in the head. I need to mention that the murder weapon had never been found, so the person who did this was lucid enough to hide that weapon in such a way that nobody had ever been able to find it. They could also find blood traces out of the room, and according to the experts, AnnaMaria Franzoni was the only person who could have committed that horrifying act. I told you that it was it is a really small village. Everyone knows everyone. If a stranger or a tourist or someone appeared in the street, the locals could have spotted it, could have seen it. So nobody had seen anyone, any sort of stranger, any sort of tourist, nobody from outside, from outside the village. But the family also hired a team of experts who stated that the pyjama was not, that AnnaMaria was not wearing the pyjama that an intruder entered the house, put on AnnaMaria's pyjamas and shoes and committed that crime wearing her pyjamas. So that was their theory, the defense theory, or that the intruder was some sort of predator who followed AnnaMaria and entered her bedroom. And when he entered the bedroom, he found a little boy and started It was freezing cold. Who would have stayed hidden somewhere waiting to enter a house? So they stated that it must have been an intruder, a thief, or a predator or something like this, who entered the house to steal, but nothing was missing from the house. Nothing. So that intruder entered the house just to kill the little boy and left, and that person had time to do this in those 10 minutes or so. There is very little time to do all these things, to put on the pyjamas and commit a crime, take off the pyjamas, leave them on the bed, get out of the house. So there were no footprints, nothing. AnnaMaria called for help. A helicopter arrived, took the little boy to hospital. Meanwhile, the father arrived. He was totally distraught. And the shocked AnnaMaria told her husband to help her make another boy. She begged him to help her make another boy, another child. People found this really strange. It's like, I broke this toy, I want another one, would you buy me another? It sounds somehow like this. I need another one, would you help me to make another one? And he helped her, so they had she got pregnant really soon, and they had a third son named Joelle, who was born in 2003. AnnaMaria placed that morning 3 phone calls. One emergency call telling them that her son was vomiting blood. One to the family doctor, and to the family doctor she said to her that her son's head had exploded. And the third phone call to her husband, leaving a message to the secretary to let him know that their little boy died. The little boy was still alive. The family doctor tried to do her best, as I told you. She initially thought that it was a natural cause for all that blood. She thought that somehow it was some sort of aneurysm, and she was really worried about AnnaMaria's health, and she seemed to be really shocked. Little boy, the little angel, died at hospital that morning. And 3 days later, the mother was arrested and accused of killing her little boy. She declared at first that she locked the gate, and then she changed and told that she hadn't locked the door, so she contradicted herself. But she had never admitted that she have never admitted that she is responsible for this. She is a free woman now, still asking for justice for her little boy. She has continued to tell everyone that it was an intruder, and all her family have supported her all these years, including her husband. The experts could not find inside the chalet, the villa, fingerprints, footprints, organic traces, anything related to an intruder, to a person from the outside. The family hired their team of experts, and they found on the bedroom door palm print of the real killer, they said, and some traces of blood downstairs in the garage. But after analyzing everything, they discovered that the palm print belonged to one of the technicians of the team, and those spots in the garage were only some traces of something organic, that it wasn't blood, it wasn't human blood at least. AnnaMaria Franzoni accused first the neighbor next door, then she accused a neighbor's brother, because that person on one occasion shouted at the boys, and she considered him weird because she used to wear wigs and makeup. She also accused her friend. Remember that they had had dinner with some friends a night before the tragedy, and she had accused her friend of saying that someone needs to experience that kind of pain, and somehow she considered that that woman might be a suspect in her opinion for saying that. But of course the police followed all these leads, and all these persons accused by AnnaMaria Franzoni had very solid alibis that morning. And she was really, and still is really, hated by the neighbors, by the people in that village, for trying to do something like this to them. One time, talking on the phone, the police were listening, she was about to say, she was talking about the murder. She was talking to a friend and was about to say, I don't know what and she realized, and she corrected herself, saying that I don't know what it has happened. telling you that the media went absolutely crazy, and the quiet place called Konya turned into a media circus. There were reporters everywhere, and AnnaMaria and her husband turned to the media for help. She had appeared in numerous TV shows, crying. She used to cry a lot and very easily. And at a certain point she asked a reporter if she had cried too much, which was considered to be really strange, as if she was very aware of her image in front of the cameras and how she was perceived by the audience. As if she was asking, was I convincing enough, or did I cry too much? Something like so. So she cried a lot. Her husband stood by her all these years. Her family, their families did the same, protected her and believed in her, and up to nowadays they think that it wasn't her fault and it was an intruder. Her lawyer was a very famous lawyer and politician here in Italy, extremely known, and still on the 19th of July 2004, AnnaMaria Franzoni was sentenced to 30 years in prison. But a very known lawyer appealed, and on the 27th of April 2007, her sentence was reduced to 16 years in prison. After 6 years in prison, on the 26th of June 2014, AnnaMaria Franzoni was released, and from September 2018, AnnaMaria is a free woman. So she stayed only for 6 years in prison and was released. She had been examined by a psychiatrist, and it was concluded that she was classified as narcissistic, self-centered, and the experts, psychiatrists, concluded that she might have probably had some sort of blackout, some sort of crisis, and that crisis had started with the night before. On that evening, when she had guests for dinner, she accused some symptoms that evening. The crisis aggravated the next morning, and it ended as we know. The psychiatrist thought that she was overwhelmed by her responsibilities in the house, and by taking care of those two boys. Samuele was a sensitive little angel who used to cry a lot, and probably at a certain point she has lost her mind and did what she did. They have never admitted that. I mean, the family, they keep on saying that it was an intruder. AnnaMaria even wrote a book expressing her side her point of view, telling everyone her side of the story. And still there was no evidence of that intruder. No fingerprints, no palm prints, no traces of blood, no footprints in the snow in the house, no forced windows, nothing was missing from the house. Anyways, she's a free woman right now. They kept the house in Konya for a while, and they are still followed by the media. After 20 years, they returned to that house and spent a few days there. And AnnaMaria said to the press that she is finally able to enjoy life again. So people here in Italy think that she is totally guilty. She is extremely hated, and she's also hated by her ex-neighbors in Konya. So that's it. That is the story. It's an extremely sad story, shocking, overwhelming from an emotional point of view. All the cases are sad, but when it comes to children, it's really overwhelming. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening. And for my ASMR lovers, there is the ASMR version of this case. I will link it in the description box. For the others, if you enjoyed this story, please drop a like, leave a comment. I am really interested to see what you think about this case. And if you interact and later on see in your feed an ASMR video, don't dislike it. It's my work. Okay, I did this video for you. For those of you who cannot listen to an ASMR true crime video. So thank you very much again, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.